Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from Group 2 and we will present our assignment about law case study. This case study will be presented by Jannah, Atira, Aiman and Shahmi. For the first question of this case study is, Dora bought a car under a hire purchase agreement. Briefly explain her statutory right as hire in accordance with Hire Purchase Act 1967.
Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and hi. So I will continue to my part, which is the answer part. So what is the answer? The answer is a purchaser who will become a hirer upon fulfillment of the hire purchase arrangement will deal with a dealer or vendor when purchasing the item. In this situation, a dealer or vendor performs the act of misrepresentation to a purchaser. Highest right and protection under the Hire Purchase Act will be available once the hire purchase agreement has been concluded in compliance with the Hire Purchase Act's provision. According to the Hire Purchase Act 1967, Rules Number 7, right of the hire of or DORA are explicitly specified in Section Number 9 to 15 of the Act and also Section 47 of the Consumer Protection Amendment Act 2010, which state in the Hire Purchase Agreement. So we will go deep down to the Section Number 9 to 15 and also Section 47 of the Consumer Protection. So we will start with the first section, which is Section Number 9. The Section Number 9 says, right to get a copy of Statement of Financial Position. DORA has the right to ask the owner for a written statement containing the following information, which is the amount paid to the owner by the hirer or his agent, the amount which has become due under the agreement but remains unpaid, the amount which is to become payable under the agreement, the amount derived from interest on overdue installment. This right can be exercised for a maximum of 3 months if DORA makes such a request more than once every 3 months. The owner has the right to refuse to comply. Going on to the number 2, which is Section 10. Section 10 says the right to ask the owner for appropriate payment received under the hire by agreement. DORA is entitled to appropriate remuneration in accordance with the agreement's sequence. If the hirer fails to make such an appropriation, the payment will be used to satisfy the quantities owed under the respective agreement in the order in which they were entered into. Going on to the next section, we see Section 11. Right to apply for an order to remove goods. A magistrate court can pass an order approving the move of goods to another location on DORA applications. Section 12. Right to assign hirer's right under the agreement. A right assignment agreement describes circumstances in which DORA, known as the assigner, transfer contract right to another party. The party acquiring the right is referred to as the assignee.
So next, the right that DORA can get is Section 13 right by operation of law to have his right, title and interest. If DORA had a corporation, the liquidator may exercise the same authority through the corporation. In effect, the liquidators assume the highest right and responsibilities under a hire purchase arrangement. Then, Section 14, right to early completion than the due date of agreement. If DORA feels she will be able to complete the agreement sooner than the agreed upon time limit, she must tell the owner in writing of her plans and make all due payments under the agreement. DORA also has the Section 15 right to terminate the agreement. The arrangement is often ended by DORA's return of the objects, the owner's termination notice owing to DORA's breach of terms, or DORA's termination notice. The lastly is Section 47 of the Consumer Protection Amendment Act 2010. This amendment allows DORA to seek damage if she received damage to goods supplied under a hire purchase agreement that provides for a guarantee under this act to be assessed on the basis that the consumer will complete the purchase if the item is ready for purchase if the goods have complied with the warranty.
The question 2 is Mila advertisement in a newspaper. An offer of reward of Rm2,000 for the return of her lost handbag. Zila was on the way to the supermarket when she found the handbag. She recognized the handbag belonged to Mila and returned it to her. 1 week later, Zila learned about the reward advertised in the newspaper by Mila. She now wants to claim the reward. However, Mila refused to give it to her. Based on the issue 2, the question is whether Zila can claim for the reward from Mila. The law applicable for this question is Law of Contract. In Section 2H of the Contracts Act 1950 states that an agreement enforceable by a law is a contract. One of the elements is an offer or proposal. Section 2A of the Contracts Act 1950 defines an offer or proposal as when person signifies to another his willingness to do obtaining the assent of the other to act. He is said to make a proposal. An offer is a promise by one person with the intention to create a legally binding relationship. The general rule is that the offer must be communicated. To be effective, an offer must be communicated to the offeree. Next, general rule is that advertisements in newspaper are not offers but an invitation to trade. Advisor is not making an offer through the advertisement but merely invites the readers to respond with an offer. When the person who reads the advertisement responds with an offer, it is entirely up to the advertiser whether to accept or reject the offer made. A contract will be only created if the advertiser accepts the offer made by the public. To be effective, an offer must be communicated to the offeree.
The Australian government made an offer to pay for any information leading to arrest and conviction of person responsible for the murder of 2 police officers, Mr. A and Mr. Clark, both detained for the crime. Clark provided information that led to Mr. P's arrest. Clark was released because he was found not guilty. Clark had filed a lawsuit to obtain the award. Clark was found to have failed in his conduct since he provided the information solely to release himself and not respond to the offer of reward. Although Clark had seen the offer at the time of providing the information, the price was not in his mind. He forgot it instead. He was so happy to be liberated. Finally, Zila is unable to claim the price because she is unaware of the advertisement. Otherwise, she would be less knowledgeable about the advertisement.